children of the night. What music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you with it.
Welcome to the most Titanic episode of Final Guide ever in our 5-year history. Because, first of all, we're reviewing Titanic 666. Most importantly, is that we've dragged two suckers in along with us this week. Two of my favorite people, Laurel Hightower, down there on the bottom.
Hello.
And the love goat, Chad Lutzke, because it's a crappy movie. We can't.
Of course, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Thank you.
But yeah, we decided to watch the Tubi original Titanic 666 this week, and we had to share the pain because we can't do this by ourselves. Right, guys?
We shouldn't have tried. None of us should have tried.
No, you had the right idea. We should have all watched it together, like remotely, and maybe recorded that if we could have.
I think we would have still fallen asleep.
But then that's so bad it's good territory, and we don't want to overshadow Jason's greatness.
Yes, that's what we don't want.
I've never rooted for an iceberg harder in my life.
Didn't you wish one would crash into your house and take you all out?
I wish I could run into.
You're right. The iceberg is the protagonist.
Yeah.
Iceberg was the hero.
I was hoping
anti-hero
to never let go as I let go. Just floated down into the depths. But hey, whatever. We're gonna have lots of fun tonight. Before we get to this,
you had so much fun coming into the beginning of this that I think you blew your microphone out.
Did I
sounded
kill
like
it?
shit for like 20 seconds.
Woo! I'm up. I'm hyped. I'm in. All right. So before we start, it's always drinking words. Always drinking words. Who's
I
got?
should wait for the drinking words. Sorry.
I'll do 'em.
All right.
All right, Sheridan. I hope you had your big boy pants on for this. All right, Jack. Your drinking words are Sirius, Witch, and Mary. Hunter, yours are 666, Teleport, and Rose. Laurel, yours are effing, ship, and effects. Lutzke, yours are Lifeboat, Ghost, and Gore. Mine are So Bad It's Good, Cameron, and Asylum. And the bonus words are Titanic, Tubi, and Disaster.
How many words are we at now? I think
It's a lot of words.
You got a good buzz.
I don't think iceberg is a word.
It isn't.
I mean, to be fair, an iceberg is in this movie for about 30 seconds.
A beautifully CGI sculpted iceberg.
Yeah, it was nice.
Why didn't they go with practical icebergs, man?
They didn't even go with practical water. They CG'd so much water in this movie.
This is true.
It's amazing, but it was free, so we can't complain that we overpaid for it this time.
They owe us money.
Yeah, they do.
Does anybody have any special announcement, things to say going on other than I had sausage and peppers for dinner? It was great. While I listened to a Mets game.
I had sushi.
Sushi? Oh, mercury poisoning.
Yes.
And wings. They were great.
That's it. Hey, Jason, when's the next book coming out?
It's gonna be a while, I think.
When's the first chapter written?
I have a third of a book written, but I want to kind of rewrite it. So,
right.
It's going to be a bit. But So Bad It's Good's doing really well. I'm in my biggest spike ever right now. So
nice.
It's going. Yeah,
that's what she said.
Had 120,000 views yesterday or the day before.
Of which video?
Across several, but mostly my Steven Seagal stuff.
Of course.
One of them just crossed 1 million views, which is amazing.
Wow,
And,
Jason.
Wow,
That's awesome. Well done.
Jason, quick Steven Seagal aside. Today at the office, we started talking about celebrity singers, and while Bruce Willis and Shatner and some others came up, Steven Seagal came up, and so I tagged you on Twitter for one of his blues performances. Are you familiar with his recording?
Oh yes.
Work?
Oh yes.
Okay.
It's
man.
It's at the end of one of the movies we watched. It's just randomly him performing on stage.
That's amazing.
All his co-stars.
Talk
He doesn't
about-
stand. It's something.
His ego is bigger than Jupiter.
He has zero self-awareness.
None.
Just none.
You have to respect a dude who's like, I want to make another movie. I don't want to lose any weight for it.
Not
So can I
really.
just put on a bathrobe? Sure, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
plays
would love to write-
65-year-old, 300-pound Navy SEALs at this point in his career. It's amazing.
I would love to write a book called I Worked with Steven Seagal and just get stories from everyone who's ever had to endure.
So it's
being
been
with
one
him.
nice thing about this. I've had a couple people who work in the film industry in Eastern Europe where he films these messaging me and telling me stories, and they're wild.
I hope
What's Janine
Seagal
Pipe?
picks
Is this
up
going
a
to be
gun.
Janine's next book?
Oh.
Janine-
I gave her some homework last night, so we're gonna see if she does Skinned Deep. Did you guys ever see that movie?
Mm-mm.
I'm not sure.
Somebody just sent me that on Blu-ray.
I said that's a Jason movie. That's an SBIG movie, if ever there was one.
I think I just got that,
It's amazing.
and now I can't find it because I'm
Yeah.
organized.
WTFery at its finest. All right,
Yeah, somebody just sent me that.
so make it happen.
Is it that bad?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's glorious.
Before we go to the news, if anyone wants to see anything amazing, check out Steven Seagal's reggae song.
Ouch.
It's on YouTube.
Does he have fake dreads on while he sings it?
I don't think there's a music video. I just heard the
Dude,
audio.
does he seriously do an accent? I'm sure he does. doesn't
Oh
he? He
yeah,
tries.
yeah. He does accents all the time. Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
it's amazing.
Oh, God.
Oh man.
I love it.
Embarrassing. Cultural appropriation. Steven Seagal. All right, it's ready for the biggest award-winning news segment on any podcast called Final Guys.
It's the news. Yay!
All right.
Yay!
All right, breakfast fans, let's get to the Kevin Bacon news that Chad Lutzke hipped us to this week. The news front on the Toxic Avenger reboot just got a big injection of Kevin Bacon as the villain. This movie is
Nice.
shaping up.
With
What?
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage, we already knew, was playing the Toxic Avenger,
It's
and
amazing.
now Kevin Bacon is going to be the villain.
Whoa. Peter Dinklage is gonna play the Toxic Avenger?
Oh yeah,
What?
Wow.
Chad, can you move your mic a couple inches away? It sounds like you're deep throating it.
Well, he is.
I could.
That's a Chad aesthetic, man.
The deep throat mic. How much?
Chad Lovelace.
How much budget is in this
Yeah,
movie?
so this movie's been on our radar for a long time, and Dinklage was the first one attached to it. But all of a sudden this week, Bacon. So think about the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon that's going to come from this. This is going to be amazing.
Lloyd Kaufman's not involved in this.
He is involved. He's
I'm sure he
he's a producer.
Oh my god.
Him and Michael Hers.
What? How do they have money for Kevin Bacon?
Maybe they just
filming
paid cartons
Maybe
of
he's a
cigarettes.
trauma fan.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're filming in Bulgaria, so they're saving money.
Oh
This is-
god, yeah.
This has got to be a first. Remaking a trauma film.
I
This
know.
has
What's
to
the
be-
point?
Dinklage has to have a soft spot for this movie, and this is like a passion project for him. Or something.
Romeo and Juliet is next. For
Sergeant
sure.
Kawiki
Poltergeist.
Man.
Oh, Poultrygeist. That deserves
Oh.
like a Broadway interpretation.
Oh.
It's a musical.
I would go see that. I
Yeah.
would see that.
And I'd rather see that than freaking Aladdin or Matthew Broderick or anything on Broadway. Come on. I want to have fun.
Wow.
I don't know when this movie is going to be made, though. They keep talking about it. We've been talking about this for a year or two.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, if it's a trouble movie, they can make it in a day and a half.
Just a weekend, yeah.
True. Now, Bacon, I believe, was involved in like a Ponzi scheme, so he's got some money to catch up on. So
He's
You know
married
why
to
he's-
Kira Sedgwick, who's like a billionaire. He doesn't need
Yeah,
anything.
but Bernie Madoff stole all their money.
Even
Literally.
Sedgwick's
Oh,
money?
God.
I think so. Yeah. I think they
Oh.
started over in their 50s money wise.
Man, that
although like
sucks.
2 movies puts them past all of our lifetimes.
Yeah, I'm starting
earnings.
over.
So,
Wait,
Screw them.
did you not hear? I just had a 1 million view video,
that's true.
bitch. I am now on Kevin Bacon's level.
Oh God, you're going to be unendurable for the rest of
How's
the year.
how's your health insurance benefits with that job?
Insurance? What?
Oh God, he's one tick bite away from me and you, Jack, finding
One-
people to come on the show.
One stepping on a rusty nail
Yep.
at the bonfire.
It's all done.
When's Medicare kick in though? You getting up there?
Not soon
No.
enough.
Yeah, I think I got a little bit yet.
Well, they should delineate between chronologically needing it and like physically needing it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Jason could be there sooner than later.
And like I've had sciatica since age like I don't know 20. I feel like I've always had like old people's like health problems. Like, I got the gout, you know.
Got the
like, fucking
lumbago.
17-year-olds.
Gout. You know, whiskey is terrible for the gout.
Yeah.
Whiskey and red meat.
She gives the FU sip.
Get me
There's-
steak.
I'd rather cut my feet off than stop drinking.
I got that Terry Bradshaw gout.
By the way, Jason,
Did you
there's a lot of
stop it?
diabetics who've said the same thing.
Most places have wheelchair ramps now. What's the problem?
Yeah, I know. It's fine.
I'm already starting to walk hunched over from being in such terrible shape. So
Sitting
right,
in
Jack.
that chair editing videos all day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I edit like I'm at the gamer in South Park. I'm like, I just sit like this all day.
Cheeto dust everywhere.
All right, there's two remaining news stories, but they're linked because they both concern Lionsgate. They are going to relaunch two existing properties. Number one is Leprechaun.
Okay.
Well,
So Darren Lynn Bousman, who did Saw 2 through 4, Repo, the Genetic Opera, and Spiral, the book from the Book of Saw,
Okay.
he wants to go back and do a Halloween 2020 or whatever, where all the sequels don't matter and it's just a sequel to the original one or something like that, but in the spirit of like the other ones. But they're kicking around ideas of what they want to do. But he wants to bring back Warwick Davis. But there's no decisions yet. But Lionsgate wants to put Leprechaun back. We all know how painful that last one was.
Well, Warwick Davis is in the movie Skinned Deep that I just watched with my patrons. And he's a guy called Plates who runs around dancing and throwing plates at people. I can't even.
They could always get Dinklage too.
They could battle each other.
I mean,
so you're saying he has time for Leprechaun? If Warwick Davis is just throwing plates at people, he's got time for this.
Well, this is from a while ago, but still, I'm sure he has time. I'm sure his calendar is.
What if
pretty
Dinklage was the Leprechaun and Will Ferrell was like the Jennifer Aniston character? And, ooh, you're an angry
that would be
leprechaun.
nice.
He runs across the table and dies.
imagine if they could bring
Francisco.
Jennifer Aniston back.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
yeah, she
Could it-
doesn't age.
Could
She
it be
does.
more cool?
she does, Laurel. By the way, you see every
Come on.
commercial she does is about drying out. It's dry eyes, dry skin, dry. I'm like, oh Jesus,
It's
you turning
just-
into a mummy?
This is what moisturizer's for.
Slather it on, baby.
The Blood of Virgins, available now at CVS.
She just tells everybody, I look better than Courtney Cox. Suckers.
Before you go to the next topic, how do you retcon out Leprechaun in space, though?
I know.
The linchpin.
Sure
Or the
of the
hood.
series.
The hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was two hoods, right?
You shouldn't forget.
Yes. Yes. I don't know. I watched those a while ago.
that. Yeah.
Back because he was back in the hood.
Yes, you're right. You're right. As long as
Man,
Warwick
how many-
Davis is in, I will watch it.
How many are in that franchise? Because I gotta say, I think I only watched the first one.
One
That's
too
bad.
many.
One too many.
The first
No,
one's
they're not
the
that
least
bad.
entertaining because they realize how stupid it is from 2 on and just dive headfirst into it.
Ran with it. Yeah. It's kind of
Yeah.
like Chucky movies.
Hmm.
Like they
Leprechaun
were
in Space
unlike
has-
Steven Seagal, they were self-aware.
Plus, the first one was filmed all the way through as a children's movie, and then they
Right.
realized we could make more money as a horror film, so they made like cut gore scenes and added those in later.
That's right.
Seriously?
Yeah,
That is okay. I have to go back and watch that with that knowledge. That's
Oh.
interesting.
It's awesome.
All All right,
Puts
the
me to sleep
other
every time.
the other franchise that they're looking to reboot is the Blair Witch Project.
How
No
are
sense.
these connected?
No sense in
Are
it.
these connected? Is the Leprechaun going to Blair Witch?
Ooh.
I thought they already did that? Or am I wrong?
Well,
The
they
last
did
one
it-
was a sequel.
Oh, it was
yeah,
a
the last one was
sequel.
I don't know. There's now the guys who made the original Blair Witch Project were not very involved in anything after that, and they are kind of sitting there saying, we have some ideas, but I don't know if they're going to go to that well, because I know that Jason doesn't want to hear this, but there's a lot of history to the Blair Witch legend that they
Oh,
made.
God.
So you could do the original Ellie Kedward, I think her name is, and the Rustin Parr and all that stuff.
No, you can, but you should.
Period pieces.
No.
Why do you even need to reboot it? Just do another people. It's people walking around in the goddamn woods and they get grabbed by something. You don't.
Yeah, and I don't think that's gonna have the same like. It's been done. So how are you gonna make it as big of a surprise, or as big of a like the atmosphere?
Yeah,
It's just
you can't.
Like
doesn't.
that was a product of its time when the internet was new,
Yeah.
when they were putting that stuff. Oh my God, is this for real? It's on the internet.
Yeah,
it must
yeah.
be real.
Right.
You can't get
Yeah.
that again.
Everything worked. I mean, there weren't found footage movies really before that. There were a
Mhm.
couple, but it wasn't mainstream. Yeah, everything worked to make that
Yeah.
movie what it was.
Yeah, you had the McPherson tapes that nobody saw, and the what's that Jersey Devil last broadcast
Hmm.
that nobody saw. So that
That nobody saw.
Cannibal Holocaust.
Sort of, yeah.
that we saw and regretted.
That a lot of people stopped watching.
That's it. I'm going to rom-coms.
I agree. I love the Blair Witch Project, but it is a moment in time. You'll never replicate that. Let it go. But that brand name is too strong to them. So
Mm.
Yeah.
All right.
I like. Oh God, what's Eduardo Sanchez? I've liked some of his
Yeah.
other movies, so
He
he's got
exists.
an idea.
that's
us the
why
best
if they
favorite
give it
movie.
to him, I'd feel better about it. But they go in other directions, and again, I'll have to see a trailer and be like, okay, I'm in, because remember how much we love Blair Witch 2.
Where's
What a
Tim?
letdown.
I buried him somewhere up here. I'll have to pull him out of the floorboards. and
I
ask him.
thought the third one was even worse than the second one.
There was a
Ooh.
third. Jesus.
Yeah,
that's-
you're right, because the third one didn't have nudity.
It was just jump scares like throughout the whole thing. That's all it was.
Was it all? Were both of the follow-ups found footage?
The
The
third
second
one
one's not.
The
second
second
one's
one's
not.
not.
Mm.
Did the third one hint at aliens?
I can't remember.
It
It
seemed
looked
like it
like
to me.
aliens, but I don't know
Yeah.
if it was aliens.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
one where they had the drone and they kept showing it, but then it didn't mean anything, and then like they put all this stuff in the movie that didn't end up mattering. That was rough.
Yeah.
Speaking of drones, can we tell all movie makers at this point, stop? Just because you have a drone doesn't mean in the beginning of the movie we need the overhead shot of the town, driving to the town, driving away from the town. Stop it. It's lazy.
Unless it's Amityville.
Unless it's Amityville. Then
I
it's
think
fine.
I'm gonna record the next So Bad It's Good with a drone, so you just hear the in the background the whole time.
Just hovering over your house, and you can hear you guys talking.
I went hiking at like Natural Bridge, and like you're hiking and you're out in nature, and some fuckwits had a drone, so the whole time you're just overhead, and I'm just like, at some point you wish you had a firearm.
Yeah,
Like
you didn't.
All your
Not-
drones
Not
sound
on
my
like
guns are very heavy, so
all your drones sound like the Dumb and Dumber.
They had the most smiling sound ever.
would rather listen to that in the woods. Absolutely.
All right.
All right,
Let's
that's
get
all the news.
That's all the news. Let's get to all the crap we've seen before we get to the big crap later.
We have such sights to show you.
Oh, I have such power right now. Who do I make go first? Chad's fiddling with something. So, Laurel, I'm going to go to you.
All right,
I think he intentionally did that.
Yeah, like when you're in class and you like don't make eye contact with the teacher, so I'm calling you.
Yeah.
So Brand New Dark by Bo Johnson. I have read this because I blurbed it, but he's putting the next one out in October, and I've been meaning to record just like a little reading So I've been like going back through and finding my favorite passages. This is crime. It's not horror, but it's really horrific. So really, it could go either way. But I don't know if you guys have read Bo Johnson's stuff, but it's very man, like it's all short stuff. It's written out of order. It's non-linear, so you can pick up any of them and read them like at any point. And like they are just like bite-sized brutality. And inventive and fun. And it's great because Bo is like the nicest Canadian you'll ever meet. He's just so nice. And then you're like, you did what with a suitcase? It's it's really good stuff. And I saw Man on Fire with Denzel Washington back like when I was a teenager and had just been through like a real shit breakup. And it was like the best experience. I was like, yeah, shove that right up and let like it was great. And that's like the entire experience of reading these. Because Bishop Rider's like he's an anti-hero, and he's so the people he's going after are really, really just terrible people. So you can definitely root for the really god awful things that happen to them. But it's inventive, and Bo is actually he is an excellent writer. Like I think it's like a really amazing feat to pull off, to have that kind of violence but have it not be gratuitous. He's very skilled. So I've been enjoying like kind of going back through here and picking my favorite like really vicious scene to read in a video.
The cover is killer.
Yes, and this is I don't know my fucking directions with these things. But this this one is the 4th, I think, Bishop Rider, and the 5th is coming out in October, and I think that's supposed to be the last one. So anyway, I would highly recommend it. It's great because it's one of those that like, if you don't have a lot of time, you can pick up and read like just a couple stories out of it or something, and you don't have to remember anything. It's nonlinear, but cool. Highly recommend. Really, really enjoy this series.
Nice. How many number 2s to read a story on average?
Oh, dude,
man 2s.
Point,
not lady 2s.
0.2, 0.3.
Point two.
You could definitely you could probably get through 3 or 4.
What if you had a lot of cheese that week?
You might. I mean, you could probably do like half the book, probably.
All right. So craft cheese it up.
Bring
your book inside the washroom.
Start getting them in bathrooms everywhere.
It's amazing. I actually have people write to me all the time and go, hey, how many 2s? Like I'll just post a book. Like, how many 2s did it take to get to?
That should be your rating system.
That was 19 deuces. That's and
it depends if you want your feet to fall asleep or not.
Yeah, true. You ever get that where your legs are completely dead? You're like, oh God.
No, I just made that up.
Oh, it happens.
Oh, I know.
To some of them. All right, Chad, since you're our second illustrious co-host today, and you're wearing a Monster Man t-shirt, which I think is awesome.
Well, since Laurel kind of broke the rules almost by doing a book first, I will do a book first as well.
She did.
Oh, there's a rule? Fuck.
Well, no.
Sorry.
Unspoken rule, no.
We usually give second shrift to books. It's horrible.
Yeah. So I read this book right here, The Gulp by Alan Baxter, 5 Tales of Horror. He's got one out after this. This is like his Castle Rock. And all of this, like Mellerman's, what is it? Goblin?
Goblin.
Kind of like that. And 5 stories in there, and I actually have never read Alan before. I think I read a short story of his before, and that was it. I've talked to him. Nice guy. He's beta read for me before, and we're actually going to hang out with him in 2 days for Bleeding Page.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Very well written. I have some favorites in here, but every story is good. And it's very kind of Lovecraftian, kind of ties together in this Lovecraftian web. But there is a story in there that stands out, and I saw other people talking about it. When I posted it, I was reading it when my Goodreads thing popped up with my progress, and I just got done reading the one that most people were talking about. And I'll just say briefly, it's about a woman who dies and her kids still live there. I think they're like late teens, and they don't do anything about it. And in the meantime, these mushrooms start growing on her, and then you can, within a day or two, you can't even see her. It's just this room is filling up with this just bulbous amount of mushrooms, but you can telepathically hear her saying, "Bring people to me." So it's pretty cool, man. And there's
wacky.
all of the stories are good, but that was my favorite. And there's another one too. I can't remember the name of it, but great book. I recommend it for sure.
The follow up is The Fall. The Fall is really that's good too.
I had a guy who literally around the block from me. He died, and his mentally disabled daughter left him in the bedroom for 10 years. And the authorities had to go in for whatever reason, found his body basically melted into the bed, put her in a mental home upstate New York, and she escaped, and nobody has found her in the last 4 years.
Oh, that's a story right there, man.
I like this story.
It was a hoarder house too. They've redone the whole thing. It looks gorgeous from the outside, but I'm like, whatever sucker bought that is sleeping in a dead man's house.
I feel really sorry for her. Like,
crazy.
I mean, she didn't know what to do. That's like a horrifying life right there.
She didn't know she knew how to cash the checks coming in.
Yeah, but that's what my next question was.
That's an initial skill.
She figured that shit out. But
that's the important thing.
Every time we drive by that house, I'm always going like, oh, you can make that look nice, but you can never get the stink of the history out of it. Ever.
You get it cheap.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the stink of history, Jason, what you got for us?
I watched a movie, finally.
Finally.
I know. I watched The Cellar on Shudder.
It's on my to-do list.
I saw, is it Alicia Cuthbert?
Oh, Alicia Cuthbert. Yeah.
I hadn't seen her in anything in a while, so I thought, I'll just check this out.
Was she the mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Times have changed.
I saw she had a kid in 2022, like very recently. So I almost wondered because she looked like her appearance was changing at different points in the movie, and I almost wondered if she was pregnant during this.
Yeah,
or if it was affected by COVID or something.
It happens.
Because sometimes I saw her and I was like, oh yeah, she's a brunette in this too, which was throwing me off massively. This is essentially my book, The Gate, but in a house instead of a church.
Thieves.
And with a lower budget. Very Lovecraftian in ways, very interesting stuff with the house and the cellar. My biggest problem was it felt like everything in this movie was almost out of order. Like when things would happen, like people would react to things and I'm like, why are you freaking out right now? And then later on, you'd find out why they were freaking out. And you're like, oh yeah, that should have happened like 20 minutes ago. And then it would have kind of fed into the story better. So the first 3/4 just felt like everything was just not quite clicking. Like the music was really good horror music that was used at points where it's like, but nothing's happening. Why am I getting this epic Shining music right now? Like, let's tone it down a little bit and save it. But this is one of those where the last act really kind of brought the movie back for me a little bit. So I feel like in my mind, I maybe liked watching it a little better than I did through the majority of it because I don't want to say they stuck the landing, but it felt much better and it felt like the story was flowing better for me. So, but it was nice to see Cuthbert in another role because
haven't seen her forever.
Yeah, she is great. And she's really good in this, even though some of the dialogue's a little clunky that she's reading. She's always so good. So it felt like it had some good acting. It had some good music. It looked good. It was a cool story. The puzzle pieces just didn't quite fit.
Blame the editor.
So this is not a good main feature, or because that new Shudder movie? I was wondering.
No,
if this
I definitely would not do this for a main feature.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
I wouldn't want to sit and give it shit for half an hour.
You want something good with her in it? Watch the TV show Happy Endings. It's on Hulu.
Yes.
Happy Endings is awesome.
And House of Wax. She was great in House of Wax, the remake.
And of course, damn it, Chloe. She was in 24.
And Weezer videos.
My favorite thing with her is actually The Girl Next Door from 2004, something like that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot she was in that.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see her back. I put that on my watch list. So I was like, oh.
I'm pretty sure she's been having kids. And I think that's why she may have stepped back for a
Good
while.
for her.
Yeah.
Make the next generation. Jack, what you got?
I got a doozy. I don't know where the heck I was scrolling or whatever, but I came across a thumbnail of a cover that I've seen a million times in my life. I realized I've never seen the movie Dolly Dearest. It's the little girl doll.
Mhm.
Yep.
So I went to see if it was available on streaming, and I couldn't find it streaming anywhere. But I found it on.
that.
Huh?
I recognize the cover too. I had no idea what you were saying.
Yeah, I was one of those ones that I just sort of like. I remember being in a video store and just being, Child's Play ripoff. I'll get around to that someday. And then video stores went away, and I kind of forgot about it. So I found it on YouTube, and the copy I watched it was in English with Spanish subtitles.
Hey, we do what we got to do.
I was
Rip Torn.
Rip
Nice.
Torn.
Rip Torn, and
Excellent.
who the heck is
Denise Crosby.
Denise Crosby from Star Trek.
Star Trek.
So this is a 1991 movie, but it's the tail end of the 80s. So this feels like an 80s movie totally. And ironically, I found out afterwards that Ed Gale plays the doll, like the person dressed up. Like there's a lot of the doll running around in the background, and Ed Gale did work as Chucky as well. So this guy's in like the horror doll Hall of Fame.
He's getting typecast.
You need a killer doll? I'm your man.
I'm your guy. This is basically this father buys like a doll factory in Mexico or something. They're going down there, and meanwhile, Rip Torn's not in it yet, but there's a like ancient Mayan site or something like that, and this guy's in it, opens up a tomb, releases this cheesy red light evil that goes over to the next door doll factory and possesses one or more dolls. And as you can see, the doll looks awesome. So then the family moves there. The father gives the daughter one of the dolls. And then the doll starts like bringing her into it. It has like a life-size dollhouse in the backyard.
Oh,
and
God.
The doll's like starting to kind of possess her and stuff like that. And then eventually the whole warehouse full of dolls are coming to life. And the brother in this movie, I actually thought was the kid from Dream Warriors. It was in my dreams I can walk, but it wasn't. He just sounds like him. So this was exactly what I wanted. It was basically a 80s horror movie that I'd never seen before. So if you're looking for that type of thing, you can watch it on YouTube.
I like that.
Look at this.
That's
It's
great.
a blast.
They show clips from that movie all the time at the Alamo by me. That's like one of their go-tos.
The doll makes so many great faces, a lot of angry faces. Only a few people die, though. There's not a lot of deaths. My one complaint could have been more deaths. Could have used a little more cowbell and death.
Well, I get it. You want killer dolls. You want kills.
Seeing that poster is just bringing back VHS memories for me. I must have walked by that thing 1,000 times and never rented it.
I don't think I watched it since the 90s. Some early 90s, probably.
I'll take that over any Annabelle movie.
Wait, whoa. What about the last one?
Even
the last one was good.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're better than the last one.
All right. Well, there's something going on above me.
Oh, please!
There's fireworks going on. People are setting up tons of fireworks.
I hope you get Donnie Darkoed right now.
Me too. Put me out of my misery. All right, I'm gonna go like Laurel and Love Goat. I'm going with a book. So when we were at Scares That Care, I was fortunate enough to sit. Was next to Jeff Strand, and then right next to him was Ronald Kelly, who is like the fucking hero of zebra books way back in the day. So I bought a copy of his book Fear. By the way, this was a Sinister Grin version of Fear, who they are no more. I have always said that Robert McCammon's Boy's Life is my favorite book of all time. It's coming of age horror and it's stellar. That is now maybe 1A. This is 1B.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
This is actually one of the best books I've ever read in my life.
So that's his creature?
It's by far his creature. This is you know what? When I just blurbed his biography, I should have said Fear is Ronald Kelly's creature.
You've finally written your creature.
So this book is about it's set in Tennessee just after World War II, and it's about Jeb Sweeney, who's this 10-year-old living on a farm, He's being raised by his grandmother, who's dying of cancer of the stomach. His father came back from the war shell-shocked and is like a 10-year-old who doesn't more like a 6-year-old who only sees him as like a brother. So this kid's got like the weight of the world on him. And in the town, there is this lizard dog thing that's killing all the livestock and now taking people into this cave, covering them in this webbing you can't get them out of and sucking them dry like a vampire. So Jeb and his simple-minded father team up with this old black guy who plays guitar for money from town to town to go to Fear County to visit this witch who might have the solution to all their problems. God damn, this book is good. Every page was a little bit of magic. I mean, and it's heartbreaking. There are heartbreaking moments in it. There's really creepy moments. I said it makes me nostalgic for a time and place I've never been to. I mean, the writing.
That's impressive. That's really impressive.
It's so good. This and Boy's Life are probably like now my 1 and 2 favorite books that I've ever read in any genre.
I've heard great things about Fear. I own the I was looking for a copy of it, but I wanted the zebra one with the cocoon on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked Ron if he had any, and he said no. And somebody saw me ask, they had an extra, and they just sent it to me. And I haven't read it though, but yeah, I've heard nothing but great things, and that it holds. Yeah, it's right up there with Boy's Life.
Like, I don't want to even say it's one of the best, like, coming of age. I don't want to say it's like Southern horror. Mm-hmm. It's just it transcends all that. It's absolutely it's a gorgeous book. So
that's awesome. He's a good guy too.
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
and who quit writing for a decade because he was like, fuck it, this isn't working and whatever. And I'm glad he's back out and writing now because he's damn good.
The name of this was Fear.
Fear. Okay. Fear is if you're gonna read one book this year, first it's Below, and then it's Fear.
Thank you.
One book
is Fear,
and then whatever Chad's coming up with next.
Fear's the novelization of the Alyssa Milano, Marky Mark, and Reese Witherspoon movie with the roller coaster.
With the roller coaster, yeah. Which was
Milano.
Right where my dad walked into the room, like, and then but instead of like leaving or just like he just stands there and like his glasses in the end of his nose, just watching. At the end, he goes, "What's her problem?" And I was like, "I know why you're divorced."
Yeah.
Anyway,
unlike my dad, who bought me everything that Alyssa Milano was ever nude in. Here's a DVD. She's nude. Oh, thanks, Dad.
That's good. That's good bonding right there.
Yeah, he's a good man. He understood. All right, Laurel, you're up next.
Jason, what the hell did I tell you?
I can look in the show.
This is why we can't have Laurel on 2 weeks in a row. We need her to like.
No, but I mean, I really did. Like, I had to think
Fog.
about it for a minute. I rewatched The Fog, which I mean, what is there to say except that no, Adrian Barbeau. That's I love The Fog because I'm terrified of water, and particularly like shit that's like in water, you know, coming like back up or like touching you or whatever.
Do you have water in Kentucky?
Yeah,
or is it all just bourbon?
Fire water.
It's it's very brown. All of our water is very, very brown. It's not attractive. But yeah, we've got some shit that'll drown you, and there'll be some snakes right up on you.
Nice.
Yeah, but this is just I love The Fog. So yeah, that was a fun rewatch.
Oh, I could listen to Stevie Wayne forever.
Yes, yeah, I would absolutely listen to that radio station. And see, look at those visuals are that really is creepy.
That's great.
It's got Jamie Lee Curtis and her mom. Mm-hmm. It's got Carpenter's like his cast. It's got John Carpenter in it. I mean,
Tom Atkins as the
slinging
dog.
dick.
he was slightly crotchety and hilarious at Scares last year.
He was. I love him.
Was he at Scares last year?
He was.
He was like the last person I talked to before I left for the airport. I was getting a coffee, and so was he.
He was right across from me. I kept just watching.
There was like no cream or something. So I basically was like, yeah, we got to go ask the guy for more cream or something. So I had an excuse to talk to him.
Talk about his cream.
Yeah, I was trying to talk to him about how they keep mentioning him on Joe Bob's show, and they're trying to get him on, and he was like, "I don't give a shit about Joe Bob." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Damn.
Must have gotten a bad review back in the day.
Meanwhile, Felissa Rose was like texting Joe Bob while we were talking to him.
Yeah. He was an interesting dude, but he was funny as hell. So I thought him.
By the way, Jabbercaroni, the mother in X was Mia Goth. Just so you know, she posted that in the chat.
That.
I want to help you there. All right, Mr. Lutzke, hit us with a bad Tubi movie.
Oh no, man! I got an excellent movie on Shudder called The Editor. I went in completely blind, had no idea what this was about. I can't even tell you how much I enjoyed this. You guys know how much I like Italian horror.
I was gonna say this is Italian, right?
No. It's
I thought it was.
It's a parody of Italian horror, or giallo.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily Italian horror.
But
it's such a smart parody. Like I wasn't even sure. I mean, it's such a strong homage.
And Udo Kier.
Yeah.
Good God.
It's such a strong homage to giallo that's part of the reason why it makes it so funny. Like a lot of the humor is very dry, and if they would have made this all grainy, like it was the 70s, then
Jason, get him on there.
Chad's talking. Chad's talking.
Say hi, Chad.
Hey, buddy.
I wanted to give you hugs and kisses.
Okay. Give me hugs and kisses. I love you. I love you, bud. Have a good night, okay? Okay, sleep sweet. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye. Don't watch X.
Don't watch
X.
Or you know it, he's only going to ask you for money.
You know, I'm a sucker. I'll just give it to him.
For a while.
Sorry,
then
Chad.
You stop.
Oh no, that's fine. That was nice. No, but this is that right there, that scene right there, that is like Videodrome, and there's another Videodrome-ish, but everything else is just Argento and Bava and Fulci. It's just straight up, and even to the point where they take scenes from movies and they weave them into their story. Like I don't know how many of you
spider.
Oh yeah, they got tarantulas, of course. They got and then like the blonde woman in The Beyond, the blind woman. They have a blonde woman in here with a German Shepherd dog. So a lot of those little kind of almost like Easter eggs that are paying homage to all these other movies, and it is so funny. If they would have made it all grainy, it's not grainy, but if they would have been a little bit more dedicated toward like making it truly sound and look 70s, I would have thought it was just an Italian movie. But they poke fun of the absurdity of some of the things. Like there's a guy in there, one of the main protagonists, who like slaps women, and so make real light of it, because she won't shut up or whatever, and it's just stuff like that. It's so funny, and it's not one of those, it's not slapstick and it's not campy. It doesn't spell it out for you where you're supposed to be laughing at. Right. It's really well done, and it's about a movie editor who used to be kind of like really getting popular, really good at his job, and then he lost his fingers, so now he's got wooden fingers on this glove that he attaches. It's like what's his name, Munson,
the guy,
or
Young
whatever.
Frankenstein.
Is this
to the lumberyard?
This is before digital editing, I'm sure, when he had to cut tape, right?
This is when he would cut tape and stuff, and that's how the accident happened. And well, on the set of the studio where all of this is happening, people start dying, and then when they're found, their fingers on that same hand are chopped off. So, there's a lot of red herring there. It's got lots of gore in it. The women are gorgeous. The music is great. It's got some of the Argento, giallo lighting, the red and the blue and stuff like
I'm
that.
in.
It is so great, man.
Is there a
So
killer
great.
wearing black gloves?
Of course. Yeah.
Oh, all right, good. They did the main thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And as a matter of fact, this will be a spoiler, but it's not huge or anything. And this is for you, Hunter, so that you won't look away. There's a scene in here, and this is how much they pay attention to Italian films. There's a scene where a knife is above someone's eye, and you know for sure they're gonna get it. And they keep showing, and it's getting closer, and it doesn't happen. So it's like it's them saying, "Yeah, they're psyching you out. You know that this is what they do in Italian horror, but we're not gonna give it to you."
Oh, thank you. Thank you for warning me, because I literally would just walk out of the room.
The editor, you have to see it. It's
on
fantastic.
my list too. All right,
I loved it.
I'm down.
I don't think I've even heard of this.
You got to watch it, man.
All right.
It's so funny.
Jason, you're an editor now.
Loose.
No, you're doing a fine job.
Very loose.
Just keep all your fingers, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No problem. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
All right. I started playing a game that I have not finished, and God only knows when I will finish it.
You have no time for movies, but you have time for games that go on forever.
Well, I can hop in and out of this in like 20 minutes if I want.
All right.
So I've had this game forever. It's a virtual reality game called Half-Life Alyx. And I finally fired up and played it a little bit. And it's not a horror game, but there are a lot of scary moments. This is the game that I would have anybody who doesn't think virtual reality is going to work, I would have them play this game. Because it is amazing. Like anything you see on the ground, you can pick up and throw. Bottles, cans, anything.
No way.
It's like if there's a little radio, you can just start playing it and tuning the dial and getting a radio station. It is wild. And I love the Half-Life games. I don't think there's been a Half-Life game in well over a decade. So this was the first one in a long time. And it's great. I cannot wait to play more of it. God only knows when I'm going to finish it. But everything about it is just so much fun, and the graphics are unreal. I can't believe my computer can actually play it.
They look really good.
Yeah, so everything about it. Like I haven't even gotten a gun yet, so I'm curious. I have a feeling the mechanics are going to be amazing with reloading and all that. So it's fun, but it's also it's so intuitive the way you play. You can individually move your fingers with the controller I have, so just turning the knob, didn't have to stop and think, okay, what button do I hit to grab a hold of this? I just kind of reached out and it felt like I was grabbing it. So you could just kind of throw anyone into the game and they're going to be able to play it, because it's not like
to your house.
getting a regular controller.
You're the only one I know with VR games, so I gotta take a trip.
We'll fire 'em. I got some VR horror games that are like shit your pants scary.
Oh, see, I'll bring the beer.
All right, let's do it.
Summertime.
Do it before scares.
You know what game I've always wanted to play? Second Life, where I'm Dwight Schrute. You ever see that one?
No.
He's like everything is the same in his life except he can fly.
I like your suggestion of let's wait till summertime and then I'll come over and stay inside and play virtual reality with you.
Yeah. No, well, I'll make us take breaks to get sun. I want to see Jason with a tan. Or I want to see if he burns up.
You go outside and get bit by snakes.
Down there? There's no snakes down there. I'm fine.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
But then again, I haven't been outside since I moved here.
Ticks, bears, there's something. Blair witches.
Do you have a yard?
I have a 10 by 10 space the dogs piss in.
Oh no, that's not viable. No. Find some outdoor place to drink. All right, Jackie.
All right, my next one is a public service announcement because on Shudder, season 2 of Cursed Films has started.
Yeah,
I've watched the first two. First one is Wizard of Oz, and the second one is Rosemary's Baby, and they're both great. The Wizard of Oz is so packed with urban legends and things like that. So they really dive into the whole, was there a munchkin that hung itself?
Yeah.
And was there a hotel full of debaucherous munchkins and all the other stuff, and the kind of the tragedy of Judy Garland's life and some others, the poisoning, the aluminum poisoning of the Tin Man and stuff like that. So it's very, very interesting. Then the Rosemary's Baby one, you always know anything that's got that proximity to the Manson murders has a lot going for it. So
and the Dakota.
Yeah, the Dakota, John Lennon. So both of them are just. It made me want to watch Rosemary's Baby again, which I watched just a few years ago. Really good. I loved the first season of that show, and if you weren't aware, they're back, and these first two are great. So,
did they cover Poltergeist in the first season?
First season, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't interested in The Wizard of Oz because I hated that movie all my life, but Rosemary's Baby, I'm in.
I love that show, Cursed. The Twilight Zone episode was really tough to watch.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of these. I should check.
Oh man, they're awesome.
I haven't either, but that sounds
Twilight
good.
Zone one it's the hardest to watch, but it may be the most interesting out of all of them.
I thought The Omen was pretty. There was a lot that happened in The Omen that I had no idea. Lots of coincidences.
The Twilight Zone is more like what goes wrong in Hollywood, like making a movie.
It will definitely make you hate what's his name?
Rod Serling?
No,
Landis.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
no offense to
kid
Dean
is
Pipe,
such a
if you're
nice
listening.
person. Max Landis.
Oh yeah.
Don't lick him up if you don't want to get pissed off too.
Yeah, don't. All right, I'm going to go with the movie. It's on Shudder, and I hadn't seen it in a long time. The Serpent and the Rainbow.
Oh yeah,
so good.
But you know what? The
Oh,
more
the
like I look back at stuff, the more I realize how really good Wes Craven was. Like he's saddled with Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream, but man, he did so much other good stuff.
And some not good stuff.
And some not good. Hey, you know, they can't all be home runs.
I actually love his movies because when they're good, I find them super entertaining, and when they're bad, I still find them super entertaining.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
Shocker. Shocker is like
Fun
fueled nonsense.
So this movie has Bill Pullman, who is, I think, is an anthropologist or something, but they find out that there's some voodoo going down in Haiti, and they want him to go down there and get the formula for making zombies to help to make anesthesia. And he is just like, first of all, they shot it mostly in Haiti until the Haitian authorities told them, hey, things are unstable here. We can't guarantee you're going to survive the day. So they moved to the Dominican Republic to finish the movie.
Smart move.
But this movie holds up because this is is it from the 80s?
88.
It says 88.
88. Yeah. I mean,
I saw this in the theater.
It's got Paul Winfield, who I always loved. There he is right there.
Yeah, he's great.
Wrath of Khan.
This movie it's creepy. Bill Pullman, I'm like, hey, no white guy should act this arrogant in fucking Haiti ever. Maybe take it down a notch, you know? But whatever. He's going to be a son of a bitch to the very end. It has one of the greatest lines in horror movie history. Don't let them bury me. I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Which I love that scene. The end gets really friggin' weird, very trippy and stuff, but it's an excellent movie. I mean, if you're not scared of voodoo, that dude right there, what is his name? Zakes Moke or something. He's fucking terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would not want to have a beer with him. Just, I'd be very uncomfortable the entire time. I want to have a beer with Bill Pullman, though.
In a future episode of Cursed Season 2, this movie is in there, and I've only seen the trailer, but apparently some pretty traumatic stuff happened to Pullman where he has a hard time still talking about being there for this movie.
I mean, they were straight up in the middle of Haiti going, I mean, you could see there's weird shit going on all around them. I'm like, man, I don't know if I'd want to shoot this movie. I'm uncomfortable. Movie's great though. If you have Shudder, you can check it out. It's a really good print that they have. It's definitely worth a revisit.
I haven't seen this since the 90s. I should definitely. I mean, I remember almost nothing.
I thought it would suck now watching it like 30 years later. I'm like, no, this movie's really good.
Yeah, I saw it about a year ago, and it held up for me. I hadn't seen it since maybe the theater.
Yeah. Way to go, Wes. Hey, Wes, you should make more. Oh.
Wow.
Well.
Just went right there.
I did. Went right there. Hey, he's reborn somewhere.
Your screen name should be Titan Dick.
There's a child with his soul in it right now, waiting to make movies. Does anybody have anything left?
I'm tapped.
I'm spent.
All right, now we should gather ourselves for like a few seconds for the bumper. Jack, get your synopsis ready because we're going to jump right into Tubi's original Titanic 666.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
You know, like a good woman, they give you pleasure and sometimes they give you pain. Tubi has given me nothing but pleasure until Titanic 666.
You got it.
Just right in the icebergs.
And let me roll back like a good man. We give you a little pleasure and a lot of pain. So, Laurel, you're probably used to this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Jack, I want you to channel your best William Shatner, wishing he got the role in Titanic, and describe this movie.
We join a social media influencer and her husband on the maiden voyage of Titanic 3.
Wait a minute, by the way.
I did want to ask that question. Did I miss that?
I can explain that. Asylum made a movie called Titanic 2, and even though they don't reference it in this movie, I think they're making Titanic 2 canon in this movie.
Oh, Jesus.
Like we're all supposed to know about that popular movie.
Thank God we have a canon for this.
And that wasn't supernatural. That was like an iceberg because of global warming creates a tsunami or something like that. I only saw some scenes from it. I think it makes this look like The Shining.
That is saying something.
So the maiden voyage of Titanic 3. But there's a stowaway, a witch who climbs out of her suitcase, does a ritual, and suddenly on the original spot of the sinking, all hell breaks loose.
You're treading hallowed water because that's
Come on.
You know what? That's perfect. Go no further. We don't want to give away any spoils in this movie. Please.
Did anyone else notice that her fucking dress still had they had just pulled it out of a goddamn box. It just had folds in the sleeves and stuff. I'm like,
she was
were
in a
you?
suitcase. That was realistic.
Yeah, she was in a suitcase.
She was folded up.
I think it was
Laurel.
that was not those kinds of folds. I don't. Also, explain to me how you unzip your damn self. They have its zippers on the inside now. I don't know.
Angel.
That was impressive. She was witchy though. She had ways. You could I've got a suitcase here with a double zipper. So you could slip a zipper inside.
You just as long as there's a hole to start it, or even that. Maybe
If
not that.
you
You
know
grab
that
the back
you're
of it.
smuggling yourself, you would jerry rig it.
Yeah.
I guess, but so who rolls her on board? Who the hell rolled her on board? Did they just shove her next to where all the luggage was, and everyone just
her witchy familiar, whoever that would be.
And why couldn't she just say, "Hey, yo, my great granddad was on the original. Can I get in on this?"
Or buy a ticket.
Yeah.
Because it appeared to be just general passage.
She can't
I'm
afford
unsure.
it. She can't afford it. She's a bag lady.
Once they took off, there appeared to be 11 people on the ship.
Yeah.
It's
more crew.
Until the end.
4 people dancing together.
By the way, in the advertising for this episode, one of the cast people has liked our tweet.
Oh no.
We love you.
It's a great movie. Turn it off right now. No.
Which person do you know?
This is why I don't want to tweet about this shit.
I believe it was the girl who was a cosplayer who was a big fan of everybody.
Okay, cool. She didn't bother me.
Nancy? I liked Nancy. She had a
didn't
great
bother me at
dress
all.
too.
Yeah.
No, I liked Nancy. Also, I liked the captain. She couldn't help that they couldn't afford to have her goddamn pants hemmed. That's not her problem. But just as soon as I saw her, she gives this speech, and I was like, oh, she actually sounds really put together. And then she goes walking off the deck, and I'm like, your fucking pants are a good 4 inches too long. I'm 5'3". I've been there, but you roll that shit up. I was like, you are on a movie set.
The woman that she left in charge of the comm, I swear was making up her lines as she went along. She said something that was like hilarious. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it could not have been written down. It was like,
No, it made no sense.
By the way, I want to say BGVA 434 has made the best way to watch this. He says, making some hash oil, about to take some dabs and watch you guys. I want you all to remember that for future episodes. Do it like before the show starts.
Yes.
It'd be good.
I got to say, I love that the pant length is what brought the Kentucky out of you.
I was fascinated by the plunging neckline that she was wearing before she put her captain's jacket on.
I accepted that. I understood like that this is that kind of a movie. If you're gonna like, it's like, look, we've got a female captain now. Here's her tits. Like that's just a given. Like I get that, but I'm just like, and I mean, maybe she didn't mind. It's like, yes, I feel rather attractive in this plunging neckline, but the fucking hem. Are you kidding me?
The hem. We're gonna.
Has anybody noticed in the last couple of years that the new, like back in the day with slashers and stuff, if you were having sex or getting stoned, you were dead. It was just how that the new version of that is the influencer, the person that can't get off their phone.
What's the people we wish were dead?
They had that in the Beaver movie, whatever that.
Zombiever?
Zombeaver?
No.
There's
the bear
Beaver movie?
No, yeah,
That's
we just
right.
watched it. We just watched it. It wasn't a beaver. It was like a bear, from space. What was that movie? That had sex with the chicks with its intestines.
Oh, Seed.
Yeah.
oh,
What?
That's a turtle. It's a space turtle.
I was like, we watched a movie where a bear has sex with space.
Well, because they kept calling it like a bear and shit like that.
Yeah.
But it was just clearly a turtle. Laurel, in this movie, a turtle ejaculates its guts, and then the guts surround the woman, and you have like interstellar space with the turtle, and he impregnates you.
Mm-hmm.
and you love it.
Awful.
It's on Shudder. It's pretty.
But anyway, that's the new the new. I can't get off my phone, and social media is the most important thing in the world. That's the new. Let's go smoke a joint.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like they could have done a better job with that because it's like we got that was the point. Like we kind of like knew early on they were supposed to be annoying. They were probably going to be the first to die.
Yeah.
So why did they do like a parody of one? And like God, and I was like, wow, that is like the shit that I do if I'm going to make fun of someone like that. Like
I thought they would switch it from the on-camera persona to the off-camera persona, but they were pretty much dipshits both ways, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, their characters were kind of up and down. Like they were really nice to some people, and then they were total turds when I don't know. It was interesting. But that was Anna Lynn McCord, who was great in 68 Kill, I think it was.
68 Kill, that movie was awesome.
She's really good in that. And she's also the one that had that super cringy video about Putin.
Yes.
When the war started, where she was talking about if I was your mom or whatever.
Oh my gosh, that was her?
That was her.
Oh my gosh.
She seems very nice. But,
and then the guy who was like the museum curator guy, that was the dude from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, he looked familiar. His character was super confusing too.
Yeah,
because it was like
as was his accent that would fluctuate.
Yes,
Irish, British, and American.
Easiest guy to shoplift from, by the way.
I know.
Doesn't lock anything up. People are just palming stuff off of the table.
You can just like neck a violin if you want to, and if you get caught, it's a mistake. Like,
remember when we saw the Rankin Bass puppets? If you so much as touched those, I think he would have killed us.
Oh, the Rankin and Bass people would not watch. I mean, I moved my hand because they saw my heat miser lust, and they were like, "This guy's trouble. Don't let him. We got to call 5 over here.
Hands off the heat miser."
This guy was like, "Oh, this priceless artifact. I'll just put it down on the table and turn my back for a few minutes."
You notice how I'm not asking anybody what they thought of this movie.
Yeah,
which is jumping in.
That.
We're having.
I will say this though, if we're going to talk about what we thought about it, we recently watched that what the heck, End of Night or whatever it was called.
Yeah,
bad movie. I watched that Scary of 60 first. Bad movie. Yeah. It didn't commit the sin that this movie committed, which I think we all think is like one of the major sins. This movie was kind of boring, and it was.
Well, I thought they were going to lean into like the camp.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right,
exactly.
Kind of just lean into it.
Lean
they
into the camp or lean into the gore, or lean into something. But they just kind of played. They played like we just want you to rent it because of the title, and then we got your,
Yeah.
you know.
The horror,
Which-
all of the horror in this movie is actually what ruined the movie. If it was just some bad, catastrophe action film,
Like
it wouldn't
Titanic
have been as bad.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say my favorite, like, this is shit moment. I'm sure you'll notice this, but so the social media influencer chick, when she's dead and she comes back as like the preacher and she's like screaming, was that latex gapping from the side of her fucking face for like a straight 5 minutes? Because it was like huge. I was like, is that hair? Is that no? Like there was nothing else I feel like that could be, and they just rolled with it. They just were like, yeah, that's good enough.
And every time someone was a spirit, it's like the big black eyes and the big mouth from like CGI
stole
from the
that.
late 90s.
From like 15 years ago. Yeah.
People mostly died from getting breathed on and frozen, right? I mean,
apparently
it was like somebody ate like wintergreen gum and
yeah, some black licorice and wintergreen gum.
My
melted
daughter walked
everybody.
into this movie like halfway through and she watched it for like 10 minutes. She goes, "So this is like a horror movie for people who've never seen or made a horror movie?"
That is on point.
Yeah, yeah.
You might have nailed it right there.
This is the worst movie that we've watched with me on here. This was worse than Amityville Cop Shop or
Not
whatever.
not a chance.
No,
Not
I
a
wouldn't go that
chance.
far.
Amityville. What the
Yeah.
fuck was that we watched? Amityville. What was it?
No, I'm not talking about budget. I'm talking about this. This
talking
clearly
about
had a bigger
everything.
budget. I'm talking about there was more to unintentionally laugh at. It was more entertaining. There wasn't really not a whole lot to laugh at. It was just a lot of eye rolling.
I don't know, man. I think I'd rather have ass cancer than watch that Amityville movie again. that was rough.
Plus, it had
that
gore.
Amityville movie was rough.
I did think the CG kind of cracked me up because sometimes I was watching, I was like, "Hey, that wasn't awful.
It wasn't bad."
And
the
then the
initial
next shot, I'm
sinking
like,
of the Titanic looked really good.
yeah, there was recreations of Titanic scenes.
Yeah,
I was like,
that were
"Wow."
very fun. That was like,
Yeah.
oh, if we could do that in a movie, how funny could we make a movie?
Right.
Yeah. But then in the next
Yeah.
shot, it's the captain climbing into the boat, and she's clearly not in water. They're just
I
adding
know.
like, splashes around her. Like, what
Yeah.
is this?
Yes, she wasn't wet or anything.
Yeah, she came out of the water dry.
Like, we can't even afford real water for this. It's just fake water. We're gonna just like somebody's beneath it, kind of rocking the boat.
Plus, whose idea was it to let's recreate the same boat that sunk, go out to the same spot that it sunk at,
Yeah.
load it up with people, and head out to the glaciers?
Well, I don't know if it was loaded up with people.
There were 11.
Well, by the
really
end, there
only
were looked
counted.
like there were a good 200 or 300 sliding down off.
I mean, on the
There
deck,
was-
the deck was always dark and foggy. No
There's
one's
nobody
around.
there.
There was a moment in this movie though where I knew it was gonna sink, but I was like, if you don't sink this boat, I'm going down there and I'm gonna throw somebody off a boat. Because it took a long time to get to that sinking. And for a while there I thought like, oh, if they miss the iceberg and
Oh,
live,
good again. Well, it's like, I mean, you're right. I think that's part of the thing is that everything took too long. Like the Conjuring scene with her, that just went on. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, I'm sure glad she has this fucking journal that has several badly drawn versions of pentagrams. Because how else would you know how to conjure some fucking Titanic ghosts if you didn't look at, oh, that's even worse.
and a whole section
Oh.
of the boat to herself.
Yeah, like nobody comes in there. But then also, like, explain to me this. The whole thing is like, you're on hallowed water. You're just respecting all the dead people. Okay, explain to me why there was a zombie popping out of the water in the recreation of the first wreck in 1912. Explain that to me. Where'd that
point.
fucker come from?
Good point.
Yeah, that made no sense whatsoever.
I didn't remember back that far because I was trying to forget everything as I watched it.
That's why it's
Running a
seared
magnet over
into
your
my
head.
memory.
Forget.
Seared into my memory for now.
I like during the seance part when Annalyn McCord and her husband and the other character, I can't remember her name,
Nancy.
were watching it, and then they just kind of get bored and just leave.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Since they can't record it anymore because they're
They're like,
yeah,
"Oh, let's
it's
go."
like they can't watch it without seeing it through the phone. They gotta.
And they were down in a section of the ship that looked like a construction area.
Yes.
Yeah, it
Nobody's
was a
But there
garage.
was no one there.
It
Fucking-
didn't
Yeah,
look
there's
brand
no
new.
crew. There's no anything.
Well, we knew there was crew because we saw that one guy dead later,
and
that was it.
There was one
Also-
engineer and one security guard.
An engineer
Running the whole
wearing a
place.
jumpsuit 17 sizes too big. What is wrong with wardrobe on this movie? He's wearing like a triple XL,
Oh, yeah.
floating away as he's running.
It
I
was the
noticed
last
that
one
too.
available on Amazon.
It must have been.
Yeah.
So hire
I
a bigger
noticed that.
actor. Jesus.
Now, Hunter, this was
Yeah.
filmed on the Queen Mary, where you spent the night.
Get out! It was not
Oh.
Yeah,
really like the interiors.
that's what I read. Yeah,
Hunter's
They're
gonna
definitely
I
watch
shots
think
of
part
the
of it was
hallway.
filmed in a
Oh,
Marriott.
hallways.
To be honest,
I think my favorite part, or at least part that made me laugh the most, was when McCord's husband disappears because when they're dancing, and then the husband just is like taken,
It's gone.
and Adama's son comes out and says, "Hey, let's just go get a drink. You'll find him later." And she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah," and she's like totally fine
Lemon
with
drop
her husband.
martini. Lemon
Yeah.
drop martini.
Yep.
Not concerned at all. Oh, that's
It
good
was-
shit.
Here's
I like
where they
that-
went wrong from the very beginning. So the bald guy, the security guy who looked like
Powder?
Michael Berryman mixed with like fucking Jason Statham,
Mhm.
Yeah.
he was played by a guy named Joe Gatt. If he was Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers, we're on the right track. You guys watching Practical Jokers?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh God, Joe Gatto's the funniest guy there. So I'm like, if they had Joe Gatto, you would have been perfectly fine. It would have been funny. Like I wanted to laugh at this movie
I
wanted to laugh with the movie the entire time.
I got a couple laughs
didn't.
at it, but there was a lot
Yeah.
of parts that just dragged.
I mean, like the
Um,
three-headed shark attack movies, which I think are in the same family as this. I think some of the makers of this are involved in those kind of movies.
Yeah,
Those had a better sense of humor because
Yeah.
you have like three-headed sharks and stuff.
Five-headed shark is the best one.
I kept waiting for that. I was like, just a little bit of humor.
Just
And
like,
then-
yeah.
They
Yeah, they're
played
trying
it
to play
straight.
Yeah, they took themselves too seriously.
It was
I
an
should also
odd
say
choice.
I wouldn't worry too much about hurting like an actor's feeling from this. If you're in an Asylum movie, you have to know what you're making, right? I mean, it's the Asylum.
Yeah,
And I will say I don't think the acting was bad. I actually think
no.
I think
A
the
couple of them.
captain was excellent. In fact, it was almost that part was almost funny because I think she was able to take it so seriously and stayed in character so well. And also her character reacted like in a very reasonable way.
Yeah.
What, like
You know-
running all around the ship and not being up on the bridge where you belong as the captain?
Well, but I mean, she's like, I feel
There's
like the
no
call that she
delegation
made, she's like,
ability.
okay. No, she kept delegating. That guy, you got
Yeah,
the
but she
call.
also kept running around.
Yeah,
I'll go
okay.
down there. You watch the ship. No, fucker, you watch the ship. We're
That's like
headed
Captain
for
Kirk. I'll go
iceberg.
down to the planet. You watch the bridge.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is also
Yeah.
wrong.
I like when she was-
Annalyn McCord also. She did not mail it in.
No,
No,
she didn't
she
actually.
didn't.
She did not mail it in. I will give you that.
No.
She really did
The
not.
witch was probably my least favorite as far as acting.
Agreed.
Yeah, she had nothing to say or do that made any sense. My favorite was when she was possessed, crashing the boat, and she was just lightly tapping on the keyboard while the captain's trying to negotiate with her, and she just keeps tapping on the keyboard.
Did anybody notice how many times they're doing this, like whatever they're doing, intricate, like every time there's a screen like that, there's all kinds of typing going on rather than like, searching for things, and there's just so much like fast typing. And then a lot of them were doing that, and they'd be doing like this, stretching stuff out and doing all this stuff, and then like talking like, dude, you're running a ship. How can you see what you're doing? That happened so many times.
Did that woman cut her own throat with a tuning fork? I couldn't
It
tell.
was a hairpin, but it might as well have been a tuning fork because there was not a sharp edge on that sucker. So how she managed to slit her own throat, but I wasn't
She
sorry.
died of tetanus.
Damn near
Just
severed her own head
accelerated.
with it.
That was the only cool gore effect I thought was that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the beheading. I liked the engineer dude getting beheaded. That was pretty good because it was unexpected. I feel like it was like the first kind of like
Was that Breath
real-
that did that?
No, that was like a one of those like wheel thingies like popped off from pressure
Yeah.
and took his head off. But
That's right.
There was a
I
lot
think
of time spent in the brig.
there
A
was
lot of time.
and I guess the bullet glanced off of the Oh, Tina, yeah, probably true. That would make the most sense because I don't know what else explains.
Yeah,
it.
Tina's
for
right.
another movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
Just
yeah, that
Like
bullet,
the
I
Little
think, hit him in the
Rascals
shoulder or
borrowing
something,
their
right?
parents' clothing
wow.
for the show.
And then the witch chick, like that was the other thing too. Is like I am so tired of the I'm gonna talk in a sing-songy voice, which makes me super creepy because and it's like, no, I'm sorry, it's so done. Please stop. Have motivation. I need you to have motivation.
She was playing it dead serious, and
was.
a little bit of humor with her could have gone a long way.
It really could have.
Like
really
if she Evil Deaded it up.
Yes,
fun.
I would have liked to see that.
You're gonna sing.
Bernard just reminded me of the best line in the movie, but I think it was the captain says, "I can't control the controller."
Yes, that's the line I was trying to think of.
I love that one.
That is the exact line I was trying to remember.
But didn't she stumble over it? I thought it was the other chick, and she's like, I can't control the controls.
The controls. And they're like, keep rolling.
How long did they have to shoot this movie? Like 3 days?
The director's off camera going like this, like stretch it.
Tubi said we got to hit 90 minutes.
It was a long 90 minutes, man.
It was.
It was a long, but here's the thing. I think if we watched it together in some form or fashion,
it
would have been a lot more fun.
Yeah,
watching bad movies alone sucks.
Yeah.
It's a long, tough slog.
Yeah.
I was
told
taking
my wife
notes
about
too.
this. She was like, "No."
My wife started it. I was gonna tell you, Jason. I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna tell Jason that you thought this is the best movie of the year. She's like, I'll fucking kill you. But no, she went to defensive sleep. My daughter stayed for 10 minutes. I'm like, I am alone on this voyage. Yeah, my wife goes into this. If things don't seem right, she can go out like a freaking light. Like you can't wake her up.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
I think I interrupted you, Laurel. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't think so. I'm sure I was just incoherently bitching about the wardrobe.
Oh, okay.
Those damn ham lines.
It just pissed me off.
This is
She's
why
a
we
good
have Laurel on
actress.
here.
She's the captain.
Isn't she from Empire? I
Oh,
think
is that where she's
on.
from?
I think she's on Empire. Yeah. So yeah, she was good. Like
I liked her.
I'm sure they tried Vivica A. Fox first, and she was busy shooting an infomercial, and they made the better choice.
They did make the better
Definitely
choice.
better.
I thought she was good. And I thought she was like I liked, she was very human on the Zoom call with her significant other. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just thought she did a good job overall.
Yeah. Although if they had like Captain Lee from Below Deck, I would have preferred him. He'd been awesome. Am I naming shows nobody ever watches? Come on, people.
Stop it.
Watch more TV.
You can't count me. I've watched like 8 things in the last 5
How about the
years.
guy from Son of the Beach?
Son of the Beach.
How long do you think they had Annalyn McCord for? Because she was the star of the movie, and then she's just not in it anymore.
She was in it longer than I thought she would be.
I'll tell you what, though.
All overboard.
I watched a few interviews with her about this when she's doing the press, and God bless her, she is showing all kinds of enthusiasm. She's like, "Oh, I loved Titanic. I went down a rabbit hole, knew everything about the Titanic." So she is like she's earning her money from this role.
Dude, she did nail it because she was an annoying influencer to the max.
In a really great white dress, though. Like, that was magnificent.
Yeah, she pulled the dress off.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing we can say for y'all, I would say watch it. If you're a Tubi enthusiast, as we all are, look, Chad's offended. I will say watch
original.
it. But watch it with a buddy. And watch it with whatever, pot oil you have or brownies or
First,
beer.
watch the director's long cut of the original Titanic. Then watch Titanic 2. And then this all in one day.
Oh, God.
No, if you want to see a good Tubi original, watch Famously Haunted Amityville, the documentary that they put out. That's good.
Oh.
Famously Haunted. Back to Amityville. Can't get away, can you, Chad?
Hey, but yeah, but I mean, it's it's DeFeo and the phenomenon that was Amityville Horror back in the 79, 80. It was great.
How can you watch more Amityville after that slog you and I?
But
went
the
through?
real stuff.
I'm a huge fan of the real Amityville and the DeFeo murders and stuff.
Okay.
To me, that's the scary thing, the DeFeo murders. But everything else is claptrap and falderall.
Yeah.
I remember talking about one of those, and I was like, why don't they do a story like this? And I started describing something, and you're like, Chad, or you're like, Jason, we just watched that like 2 weeks ago, and you said the name, and I was like, oh shit, I did. I hated all of those so much. I just forgot all of them.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so here we go. Titanic 666. We survived. None of us are at the bottom of the cold ocean, although we wished we were.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what next week's going to bring. I'm hoping a step up from here, just
Something
for
good would
Jason's
be
sake.
nice.
Yeah, Jason needs something good to wash the crap from his mouth.
I don't have a lot of time to watch movies right now, and when we pick shit like this for this show, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, but it was fun because it's 5.
You're
of
not
us.
getting paid for it either.
exactly.
Yeah.
This show costs me money. When I watch bad movies on the other one, I make money.
Yeah,
Damn
well, I'll send you $5.
Thanks, man.
So yeah, we have no
That'll
idea what
do.
next week will bring. Make suggestions. We don't know who will be here next week. Whatever. I know who won't. Tim Meyer. But other than that, who knows?
Oh, God.
Tim, if you're listening to this show, I'll eat.
We
my
love
tongue.
you.
That's not going to happen. We do love you, and we miss you, and we'll see you for episode 300. I'm sure. Jason's so on. Tim, I understand.
I'm kind of over Tim.
Yeah, he's a bitch. No, I didn't say that. So before we sign off, does anyone have anything special they want to say to our 7 fans in the chat here and the 14 others who download the show?
Yeah, I'm trying to make money. Go buy one of my pre-mades or commission me to do a book cover.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I might have a
And if
job
you-
for you, chat.
If you want to pre-order the charity anthology that's coming out in May for Spirited Giving charity event benefiting the Glen Haven Fire Department who saved the Stanley Hotel, that pre-order is up. It's a Shattered and Splendid Innocent anthology. All proceeds go to benefit them.
Awesome.
Very cool.
And if you want to help me pay the cable bill, buy To the Devil a Cryptid on Friday the 13th next month. So there.
Nice.
And you're all welcome for my brilliant presence.
Yeah, I got nothing. I want this to end.
Electrifying.
All right. So there we go. Another episode down the drain. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Watch out for your iceberg.
Bye.